Hey everybody, this is Jim with Harvest Harmonics, and today on the Future of Farming Today, I want to share with you the answer to the question, what does photosynthesis have to do with soil health? Now, sometimes when we talk about our crop booster, we get a lot of questions, right? And we get a lot of things that people don't really track with the fact that our system can do a lot of different things for farmers and for agriculture. And one thing that they can usually track with is that our crop booster bicheminoxy plants can improve photosynthesis. It makes photosynthesis more efficient. It helps the plant generate more energy through photosynthesis. And of course, that energy in the form of stored sugar molecules translates into more cellular growth and more fruit and vegetable production. But they also question, well, how is your system helping microbial activity in the soil? And that's a very good question. So that's the question I want to answer today. So for those of you guys who don't know, the entire process of photosynthesis is basically how a plant generates energy through sunlight. And it does that by absorbing water and other nutrients out of the soil through the root system, transporting that water up into the leaves, and also absorbing carbon dioxide out of the air through the leaves. And to some degree, it can absorb carbon out of the soil as well. But it basically takes carbon dioxide and water molecules and puts them in the cellular structure called the chloroplast. Okay. And when sunlight shines down on that little cell that has both a water molecule and a carbon dioxide molecule, it breaks apart those chemical bonds. Okay? It breaks apart the carbon and oxygen out of the carbon dioxide, and it breaks apart the hydrogen and oxygen out of the water. And then other cells in the plant take those different nutritional elements and recombines those into sugar molecules, right? And it can be different types of sugar molecules depending on the type of plant. If you've watched some of our episodes on Facebook or elsewhere on our website, you've probably heard me say that there are three types of photosynthesis in the world. There's a C3, a C4, and a CAM photosynthesis. And those different designations really have to do with the number of carbon molecules that are formed when the sugar molecules are created. And that's the byproduct of photosynthesis. So you take carbon dioxide and water, you put them together, use the sunlight to break apart those bonds, you recreate sugar, and then you exhale oxygen. Right, so it's kind of a neat little system if you think about it. You know, we're exhaling carbon dioxide, and then they're inhaling carbon dioxide and giving us oxygen, right? So it's kind of a win-win. Now, what does this have to do with soil health? Well, what has to do with soil health is the plant will generate new cells using the carbon dioxide, the sugar molecule that is created in photosynthesis, plus adding other things like nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, et cetera, and forming cellular structures with those different molecules, right? However, some of the sugar molecules that are created in photosynthesis are sent back down through the plant and back into the root system. And that root system exude a sugar molecule. And they're called a root exudate, right? That's the nice scientific term for the fact that it's pushing sugar back out into the soil. Why does a plant do that? Well, a plant does that because there are microorganisms in the soil. There are bacteria, there are other types of protozoa. There's a lot of different organisms in the soil. In fact, I've seen reports that there are more organisms in a teaspoon of soil than are probably on the planet Earth in terms of animals on Earth, right? Or something like that. Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure what that exact number is, but there's tens of thousands of microbes and different microorganisms in a teaspoon of soil. So what the plant is doing is the plant says, look, it's sort of nature's signaling system, right? So the plant is saying, hey, I need nitrogen out of the soil, and my roots are only so long, I can't get to that nitrogen. And I need phosphorus, and I need potassium, and I need calcium, and I need all these different things out of the soil. And so the root structure of the plant can only grow so fast and so much, and so it can only contact a certain amount of minerals, and it may not be getting enough just by its normal activity. So it works with those microbes in the soil. And those microbes say, hey, I can go get you some nitrogen. So they go and they go through the soil and they find nitrogen molecules. And they bring them back to the plant and deposit them in the root system, right? There's other fungal activities that are called mycorrhizae that actually extend that root structure. They get attached to the roots and they actually lengthen the root systems to allow the plants to be able to contact more of these nutrients, right? Now, the interesting thing is, these microbes need sugar, right? They don't have enough sugar or enough energy within these other things. They don't feed off nitrogen or other things in the soil. They feed off sugar. Well, where are they going to get the sugar from, right? The answer is, of course, the plants. Plants are providing those microorganisms with the chemical energy encased in sugar, and that allows them to grow and reproduce and be healthy microbes, right? Now, all of this depends upon the plant having enough energy in photosynthesis to have excess sugar that it can send down into the roots. And if it doesn't do this, if it doesn't have enough energy, then the plant will not be able to not only grow more cells and produce not fruits and vegetables, but it won't be able to get the nutrients and water that it needs from these microorganisms. So some of that energy has to be sent back down into the roots. And if it doesn't have enough energy to produce fruits and vegetables and grow and still feed those microorganisms, then it's going to have a trade-off. And that's why we often hear farmers tell us, oh, well, you can only grow a certain amount. Like you can only put a certain amount of fertilizer, you can only grow a certain amount. And whenever we tell them the cost of our system, they automatically think, oh, I'm increasing my input costs, but they don't think, well, I can increase my yield also, because there's sort of a limit, they think. The reality is if you make photosynthesis more efficient, you can dramatically increase the productivity of a plant without having to add a lot of extra fertilizer. Why? Because those microbes in the soil are going to be getting enough sugar to go out and find the nutrients that the plant needs. And that means you don't have to spend a ton of money on fertilizer or soil amendments when the microbes in the soil will be doing just fine at providing the plants that it needs and in the right ratios that it needs. It's kind of like if you wanted to take supplements and a lot of vitamins, if you take hundreds and hundreds of milligrams of one vitamin, but you don't supplement all the vitamins your body needs, then of course, you're going to have a vitamin imbalance, and that can actually create more problems than it solves. If you just take 20,000 milligrams of vitamin C, but you don't take B vitamins and other things that your body also needs, your body's not going to use that vitamin, right? It's going to flush it out. And the plants are the same way. So if you're just flushing NPK into the soil, the plant needs other nutrients also, but you're killing the microbes with this chemical fertilizer, then you're not going to give the plant all the nutrients that it needs, and you're not going to get the kind of yield response that you're really looking for. The answer to that question, the answer to that problem, of course, of increasing productivity while not increasing your input costs tremendously is our crop booster technology. Because our crop booster technology amplifies photosynthesis. It amplifies the plant's ability and efficiency at generating sugar molecules and energy through photosynthesis, which of course will translate into more cellular growth, more fruit and vegetable production, and as I just mentioned, more sugar being pushed back down into the roots as root exudate to feed those microbiology in the soil and make sure that those microbes in the soil are taking care of your soil and making your soil healthy. So that is exactly how our crop booster system is enabling microbial activity and microbial enhancement in the soil without necessarily directly adding biological amendments to the soil. We're just enhancing what's already there in nature. And that really is the ultimate organic and natural solution and sustainable solution for agriculture. When you can just enhance what nature's doing already and not adding all these man-made or artificial means by increasing and driving production in a non-natural way. And that's, of course, what sustainability and future longevity of farms is going to be all about. If you want more information about our crop booster and exactly how it works and exactly how it amplifies photosynthesis, then of course, give us a call at 727-324-6750 or email us at service@harvestharmonics.com. We'll be happy to work with you and one-on-one to help your farm get this technology implemented and see the amazing differences of our technology on your farm. Hope to hear from you very soon, and hopefully you become part of the future of farming today.